What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Two Worlds Podcast. I'm Jake, and with me, as always, is the Detective Chimp to my Sam Simeon. It's Casey. Welcome back, dude.
What's up? It's nice to be back. I'm a little disappointed I'm not the Shrek to your shadow, but whatever.
That is a very special place. Oh man. Did I know that you listened to the episode because you got to correct me on
Yeah.
some
Ooh.
misspeakings there. Uh, yeah, Preston was a fine step in for you.
He was. I was disappointed you guys didn't do at least your top four favorite furries of the week, though.
I know we had to keep it somewhat normal,
Yeah.
but yeah. Speaking of, we've got some YouTube comments. Two of the three were from Casey.
Yeah, I was driving when I did mine too, because I'm a bad boy rebel that listen, I was
Mm.
like, oh, I need to do this before I forget.
So Casey here said correction department, Brandon Lee was killed by a prop gun. And by the way, after I read that, I was like, oh yeah, I did know that.
Yeah.
Um, we retroactively call that getting Alex Baldwin. Oh my gosh. Ah, he's a piece of shit.
hmm
And then you go on to say also Jake got Lazarus contract and Judas contract mixed up. Lazarus was the Rebirth book where Slade gets the Speed Force, and Judas was where Deathstroke got put on a sex offender registry. And then finally you say, so Tom and Green Lantern was Pie Face, an old friend of Hal's from way back in the day. DC seemingly distanced themselves because his nickname was racist. I was familiar with Pie Face. I just didn't know that that's who that was.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the whole time he was ever around there, it was like called him Pie Face. And then early 2000s, they're like, that's a racist name for Inuits. And then they're like, oh, we can't say that anymore. So they just kind of got rid of him.
Like, change his name, never use him
Yeah. It's
again.
like call him by his real name or just
Delete.
get rid of him. And they're like, we really like calling him Pie Face.
Oh man.
Because yeah,
And then
there really quick, just
mhm.
there was this really good comic with him in it. I think it's called Green Lantern Legacy, and it's like basically it's him dealing with Hal Jordan, like after Hal Jordan, died, like became Parallax, died, and became Spectre, and he was gifted Hal's ring, but it wasn't Hal's ring, it was like a kid basically, and it's like, oh, you got to watch him, but then like he's got superpowers and he has to deal with like the Justice League and trying to do the like how the Justice League always is in non-Justice League books when they're just dickheads for the sake of being dickheads. Like, oh, this kid's got power, blah blah blah, and then spoiler alert, turns out to be Hal's ring and all that stuff. It's really good. It's a really good Tom book.
Nice. Who writes that?
I really don't know. I got it somewhere, so I could pull it out and be like, oh, it's by so and so, but I don't remember. We'll
You said it
Google it
was
really
Green
quick.
Lantern Legacy?
Pretty sure that's the title of it.
Yeah. Author was wait, no. Legacy is about the
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm thinking of something different. Let's type in. But yeah, no, I
well,
mean that was like a book I got at one of those old books. It's Green Lantern Legacy, The Last Will and Testament of Hal Jordan. It was a book I got at it's by Joe Kelly at the old Barnes and Noble back in the day.
okay.
And Bill Sienkiewicz does the art.
Ooh, that's a good combo right there.
Yeah.
Very
So like I
nice.
said, I mean, it's a really good book too. Like you probably wouldn't like it as much as like just a regular like big Green Lantern fan because it's like it's Tom heavy. If you're like, oh, I don't really know who Tom is, might not
Right.
be for you. But if you're a Green Lantern fan, it is like a really solid book.
Yeah. All right. Our other comment was from good old Christian, who says, when Preston said, "Do you want to know what it does?" when talking about the Lockjaw Marvel Snap Guard, you can see the light leave Jake's eyes immediately. If it looked like that, it was not intentional. I am very, very used to hearing Preston talk about Marvel Snap because I listen to the testing room. So
You
not
don't just
sure.
like hit the 15 seconds later button when he does
Yeah, it's
that.
like, fuck this. That's funny though. All right. Yeah, that's it. So we can jump on into the news.
Well, I just like this because I wrote it and I'm like, I'm gonna be a silly boy. Next time Preston's on, can the titles be Star Wars related? Like, here's just some ideas: The Preston Menace, The Preston Wars, Revenge of Preston, A New Preston, Preston Strikes Back, Return of Preston, and the Preston Awakens. That's one of them. What were the other two?
Um,
Rise of the Preston.
yeah, Rise, which could be a dangerous title.
And then Rogue Preston.
Yeah.
Preston, a comic book podcast story.
uh,
What
I,
was I'm trying to think of the third main Star Wars movie. You've seen them
gosh.
all. You should know.
Yeah, but I don't like the new ones. Oh, let's see. Yeah, the last Preston.
Oh, the last Preston, perfect. That's like the last time he's allowed on.
Yeah.
Because the time before he got super political, and we're like, we don't do that here.
The Preston Wars it should be Attack of the Preston.
Oh, sorry, dude.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm.
Well, hey,
I
that's
didn't.
my will actually
Yeah, fair
moment.
enough.
I genuinely just think the Preston Menace is hilarious though.
It is right. That's like we have to have him. Let's like pop in, like, oh Lord,
Yeah.
he's here.
Here he is again.
We mentioned Star Wars and wrongly too many times. Now he's here to correct us.
I don't know, Preston, you got to let us know what you think of that idea. I'm all for it though.
The Prestolorian.
The Prestolorian. All right, man. I think you've got a couple more news bits than me, so I'll let you start us off.
All right, dude. So, reportedly, Franklin Richards is set to appear in the Fantastic Four movie, which I hate that idea. I'm not a big
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the older Fantastic Four guys anyway, because it's like they're mostly too old. But I don't know. This is a problem that I have like with a lot of these newer Marvel movies, and then like what DC's planning too, where it's just like, let's catch up to the comics already. It's like you don't need to. There's so much history. Just let it start and then slowly do this stuff. And so yeah,
Yeah.
not in on that idea. Maybe Franklin will be Spider-Man's friend instead of the Human Torch, though, since they'll be closer to age probably. Um, the new Joker movie is gonna be a jukebox musical with 15 cover songs. So I just thought it'd be fun. Give us like a couple songs that you want to see the Joker and Harley Quinn cover, because Beverly Hills top of my list.
What? Okay. What does that mean, though? What does it mean, a jukebox musical?
So since it mentioned the cover songs too, I'm assuming it just means there's no original music and it's all just songs that people like made by other people.
Okay.
So yeah, like Weezer's Beverly Hills and Weezer's Say It Ain't So, and other Weezer greats.
Island in the Sun.
Ooh, Island in the Sun by Lady Gaga.
Pork and Beans by Lady
Ooh, that's a good one.
Gaga. Oh gosh. Um, Real quick, I really want to talk about your bit on Henry Cavill. Will you do that one next?
Yeah. So there's rumor coming around because we were talking about recently how Henry Cavill's been approached to play a character in the Marvel universe and thought who it could be, blah blah blah. And then the big rumor that's going around that I've seen in a lot of places is he is going to play, spoiler alert for Deadpool, Deadpool Kisses Wolverine or whatever it's going to be called. He is going to play a variant of Wolverine.
I well, like, okay, I think it's cool, just because I like anything that he does, really, and I just want to see him in stuff.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want that as like a regular casting until it happened, and then I'd be all about it because I love him. But
yeah,
I think that's pretty fun. I know a lot of people really wanted him as Captain Britain. Uh, but I don't know. I think just what I assume is maybe a cameo. I can't imagine a lot of these variants will have large parts.
yeah. I
I
don't think
think
so
it's
either.
fine.
Yeah, it's one of those things. As a variant, I'm fine if it was like if he became the MCU Henry Cavill, I wouldn't be fine with it. But a variant's whatever because that's the whole point of a variant.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then while we're on the subject of that, we also got promo art for Deadpool and Wolverine. It teases all the Deadpool variants. So there's like Lady Deadpool, Dog Deadpool, um, Head Pool,
Baby.
Baby Pool, and Kid Pool. So, you know, those are those are things too. I mean, yeah, like you've read more Deadpool than me, really. Like, are you? And you probably, I think you've seen stuff with at least Headpool, right? You've read some, you know.
Yeah, I mean, not much there. I know that, like, I think Merc with a Mouth was the name of a series
Yeah,
that Headpool is a part of, but a lot of like the Deadpool core or whatever they're called, I'm not super familiar with.
that's really
Um,
when I was like, Marvel, you're doing too much.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the extent of my Deadpool is really the Danny Way, which was the second series, and then uh a bit of the Jerry Dugan, Brian Posehn stuff, but I didn't read that whole series. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I don't know. It's whatever. It's like you can tell they're kind of going hard slash maybe a bit overboard because I don't know if there will be another one after this. So
Yep.
I'm sure Ryan probably has other stuff that he would like to do. Um, say whatever, let him have fun. It's probably going to be good. I liked one and two. I'm not going to be all hoity-toity comic book nerd over Deadpool. Like it's supposed to be stupid and fun, and that's what they are.
Yeah. I hear you, dude. I think it could be really neat, and it's like it's one plus that, like I think I finally watched all of the first one or most of it, and I've seen most of the second one, but they never had me too hyped. This one I'll probably see in theaters just for funsies, but I mean, it's just gonna be like I have a feeling I'll be like, oh yeah, it's neat, I guess.
You'll think
Wolverine,
that you'll laugh a couple of times,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
That's fine.
And then the after credit scene, it'll end, and we'll have the whole Alpha Flight show up, and I'll be
Dude, if that happens,
like,
oh man, that would be so crazy.
but Henry Cavill's Puck, and I'll be like, oh, he's too tall.
But you would still be all in.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll be hard as a rock, but I'll be like, oh, it makes me so mad.
What if they did the camera tricks to make him small though?
I'd still be like, I mean, it wouldn't bother me that much because I'm not one of those people where it's like I saw this person that was like, they really need to cast a blind Chinese toddler to play Toph, and they were being dead serious. It's like you're limiting yourself on actresses, guy. But so it's like I don't really think a little person has to play Puck because it's like he wasn't born, tiny. He got shrunk down, so it's like really do what you want, but
Hmm.
still, I don't think Puck should be hot. Like that's the one that one's legitimate.
Oh
Let us know
man.
down below. Should Puck be hot? Same with Wolverine. Wolverine, despite Hollywood's best efforts, should not be hot.
Right. I'm gonna write that down for the questionnaire on whatever Spotify that nobody answers.
I do when I remember.
That's so funny. Okay. Gosh, we had like a lot of bits of news, but they're all just like a little tiny
Yeah,
bits. So Sebastian Stan is not returning for Captain America 4, which I think that means his next appearance will be in Thunderbolts.
I think you're correct on that one.
Yeah. So I don't know, like fans are disappointed because they just really like Sebastian Stan, which
Yeah.
fair enough. I also like Sebastian Stan. Uh, but it's whatever. They want it to be a Sam Wilson movie.
Yep. And fair enough to that too. He kind of needs it since the last, his last thing was sounds like it was kind of juggling a lot.
Yeah. And even as a person that liked that series, I get it. I get it. I'm not upset that it's just a the Sam show.
The main problem I have with this one being Sam heavy though, I'll kind of lead into this. It sounds like they're doing a lot Hulk related in this new movie because allegedly Red She-Hulk is going to be teased in the after credits for Cap 4 because the leader is going to be one of the villains for Cap 4. And so Red She-Hulk's going to appear, and then they say it's going to set up a World War Hulk movie. Because don't you remember Red She-Hulk in World War Hulk? She had that really great part where she was like, I'm Red Hulking up. And then she just punched Silver Surfer. Remember when that happened?
Didn't they already blow their chance to do World War Hulk?
Yeah.
I mean, technically,
I mean, here's the thing. At any point, they could just have Hulk go back into rage mode and have Illuminati send him in outer space. They could do that at any point. But Red She-Hulk has nothing to do with this.
yeah, yeah. I mean, let's be real. That's the most MCU thing ever, though, right?
Mhm.
So,
It's just like some writer who hasn't seen the comics saw the title World War Hulk and they're like, oh, we got a She-Hulk, we got a Red Hulk, because I guess Thunderbolt Ross is supposed to appear in the movie as Red Hulk. We got a regular Hulk, and now we got a Red She-Hulk. It's gonna be a war, a world war, a World War Hulk.
oh man, what are they doing? It sounds like it's going to be an absolute shit show to where I need to see the trailer first, but this could be what I wanted Madam Web to be,
Yeah,
like the fun, I want to go make fun of this.
yeah. Which I still think Madam Web we could have fun making fun of it, but I think we both saw it alone, so it was like we were
Hmm.
we were both just the saddest boys.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so the Peaky Blinders movie starts filming in September. Um, they officially announced that Cillian Murphy was gonna reprise his role as Tommy Shelby, and it's like, yeah, no shit. But anyway, they paired that huge announcement with the fact that they were starting filming in September. So this will be the movie that ties up everything that happened at the end of the show. And I'm excited. I love Peaky Blinders. I've seen it 3 or 4 times. It's just so fucking good. So I'm ready to wear my skull cap to the theater and watch it.
Is it coming to theaters or is it gonna be like a Netflix movie?
Don't know, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, my gut would say Netflix. However, Peaky Blinders is pretty big. I wouldn't be surprised if they did even if it's limited, some sort of movie
Yeah.
theater. If it is limited and it comes to St. Louis, I will go to the theater for it.
Right on, man. And speaking of direct to Netflix movies, see what I did there. We are getting a Happy Gilmore sequel. So that's that. I mean, like, I guess Adam Sandler's already got the script done and he sent it to Shooter McGavin to show him that that's the thing. and it's gonna be direct to Netflix. That's about all we know. But I mean, I know you're excited.
Yep.
I don't really know what the hell it's gonna be, but I know you're excited.
It's gonna be a love letter to Carl Weathers. That's what it's gonna be.
Yeah, I'm
Uh
I'm good with that.
yeah, I am too. I love Happy Gilmore a lot. It sounds like this was something that Adam was working on before Carl died, and he was like, well, now's the time to do it. So
Mhm.
yeah, bring it on. I'm excited. Okay. So Margot Robbie is supposedly producing a movie based on The Sims. Did you ever play The Sims, Casey?
A little bit. Like I liked it okay. My siblings loved it a lot more than me though.
hmm I like well, I like The Sims 2. I had The Sims 2 on either PlayStation or PlayStation 2. I don't know which it came out for, but I played it a lot.
Yeah,
Um, my lovely lady is a huge fan of The Sims. So that's probably one that we will enjoy seeing together, something we both
nice.
appreciate. But I'm kind of I like Margot just having fun and making movies from franchises that she enjoys. Because I believe her when she's like, "Oh yeah, I love this nerdy thing." It's like, yeah,
Especially The Sims. Like
yeah,
that's something that's like, oh yeah, that's very believable. Like you absolutely played this, you know?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, we'll see what happens. I still need to see the Barbie movie. I believe everybody when they say it's really good. I'm sure that this will be too.
Yeah. And I just hope like how funny would it be if the whole movie is like Margot Robbie's God, and then like all of the people talk do the Sims talk, and then like every once in a while like their door will disappear because they were doing something bad, and then like or like they get really upset that they can't eat or whatever, and like it's just this like weird horror movie with like sexy
Oh,
God.
that would be hilarious. The door disappears and a rug gets placed next to the fireplace.
Yeah.
Because we all have been there.
hmm Okay. Aaron Taylor Johnson has been offered the role of James Bond, apparently. So, I wrote down this because I'm not a fan. Bland. James Bland.
I thought that was hilarious, dude. I
It's
got
like,
a good chuckle out loud whenever I read it.
I'm glad because it's like he might be okay, but I still will always hold the Godzilla 2014 movie against him, where he was the blandest person on the planet. Like,
Could
he
he ever
makes,
redeem himself in your eyes, or are you just always gonna hate him for that?
I mean, it's not even like, I wouldn't even say it's hate. It's just like, I don't know. It's just kind of like if you go to a restaurant and like let's say you me go to a restaurant. I'm like, Jake, I got the best sandwich here. Don't even worry. I'm gonna order it, bring it to you. And you get the sandwich, take a big bite, and it's just straight white bread with mayonnaise. That's it. And you're like, dude, I'm like, what? Is it a little bit too zippy for you? And you're like, no, there is no zip. This isn't even Miracle Whip. That's Aaron Taylor Johnson's acting to me. Like that's how he was in Kick-Ass. Like he had a little bit of a personality in Age of Ultron, but even like Kick-Ass where it's like, oh yeah, it's like, no, dude, you're very bland, sir.
Dude, so being like the only person that really loves Age of Ultron, I thought he was great in that. I really did. I loved his part in that movie.
Like his part, and for me personally, I think Hawkeye made his part better though. Like if there was
Well,
no,
sure,
it's
sure.
like Hawkeye was what was really, really awesome. And then like Aaron Taylor Johnson was like talking with a weird accent that for some reason Scarlet Witch has forgotten all about. Uh
hmm
like he was talking with a weird accent and then like Hawkeye was saying funny lines as he would run away. And I was like, oh, that's pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I mean, whether someone else was a part of it or not, I still enjoyed the
Yeah.
scenes greatly.
So are you
Uh,
excited about him, Craven the Hunter as James Bond?
the thing is, man, is I didn't love Daniel Craig,
Yeah,
so I'm excited that I get to see someone else try, you know?
yeah,
And if I don't enjoy it, I'm not going to be super let down because I already wasn't enjoying it.
yeah. That's my main problem, and this is like just on the same subject. I prefer the fun James Bond, and I think we're just gone from that.
Hmm.
Like the fun gadgets, the crazy characters, and all that stuff. I just don't think we're getting that anymore, and which sucks. And because that's what I like. And so like I think Aaron Taylor Johnson is going to be like another Daniel Craig, where it's just like, yep, paint by the numbers. Like for the longest time, I thought Daniel Craig had very little, ability to act, and I see him as like the gay Kentucky foghorn leghorn in Knives Out and Glass Onion. I'm like, oh, okay, he's actually funny and charming, and this is kind of nice. Like I'm glad to enjoy his movies now.
Yeah, yeah. No, I do like him a lot, but when you sign on for James Bond, you sign on for multiple movies and you just got to do what they want you to do.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do agree with you. I mean, you already know my favorite Bond is Pierce Brosnan, so I definitely miss the cool gadgets and stuff like that too.
yeah,
Um so it is a little bit of a bummer, but wouldn't it be something if they brought all that back with him with Aaron? They're just like,
yeah.
fuck it. Crazy characters and gadgets. Let's go.
But then it's like the most bland delivery while he's trying to do puns. He'd be like, take a take a dive.
Though, I really hope that this is like the role that he needs to like break out. And I hope that you like it.
I mean, I'm not gonna hold my breath.
Yeah. Nor do I think you should. I just hope that it
Yeah.
is for you.
Let us know down below. Do you think he's gonna be a great Bond? And tell us your favorite James Bond. Like rate them. If you
Mhm.
say George Lazenby is your favorite, though, we will find you and smack you. It's like,
Well,
yeah, on Her Majesty's Secret Service is my favorite. Ooh, I'm so interested. Ooh.
they're wearing the fake thick rimmed glasses
Yeah.
too. That's so funny.
But no, my favorite Bond's Sean Connery, Goldfinger, with Pussy Galore in her man hands.
There's really there's not really any that I dislike, honestly, apart from Daniel Craig. Like I
E-
recognize that
Even really quick, even Timmy Daltz, because his I wasn't hot on.
yeah, he's towards the bottom for me for sure, but and I fully recognized how bad Pierce's Die Another Day.
Yeah,
Yeah, I realized that
the
that's
Halle
not a
Berry
good
movie.
movie. Yeah. Um, but the world is not enough. I love that movie. And then fuck the other one.
GoldenEye.
Goldeneye. I almost said Goldfinger. I'm like, that is not it. But anyway. And then fuck, fuck, who was the second one? Help me out. I feel like such a
The
fake fan.
Okay, so the second one was George Lazenby who did
Right.
Honor Majesties, and then it was Sean Connery again for Diamonds, and then it was Roger Moore
Roger Moore. Thank
who
you.
who went on to do it for too long.
Moonraker.
Moonraker, and then but the one with Christopher Walken where it was
Oh, what was that one?
Live and Let Die, I think maybe. And it's like
A
he's wearing
View to Kill.
a View to Kill, and that's the one where he's like wearing a leather jacket and looking very much old.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird though, because like in some scenes, it's like he's got a wig on and he doesn't look old, but I
Yeah.
don't know. Well, Walken's just a weird character in general.
Well, I meant Roger Moore. Roger Moore was like that. That was like the end of the Roger Moore era, and it's like, oh,
Oh, okay.
buddy.
Well,
You're too old for this.
I still stand by Walken looking old in certain parts because
Yeah,
he's either got like a weird comb over or he's got kind of a baby face and aviators on. I don't know.
yeah. Walken is one of those guys. He's very much like the old woman picture where it's like, ah, that's a beautiful lady, or like, oh, that's an old hag.
Oh man. Anyway, well, welcome to our side project all about James Bond.
It's gonna be called Friends Bonding,
uh,
James Bonding.
I love it. All right, and then my last bit of news. This one really took me by surprise this week. There is a new Boondock Saints movie in development. Turns out Troy Duffy, the original writer-director, is not attached to it. Apparently Troy Duffy is going to go on to write Boondock Saints books.
Mhm.
Um, and while I hear he's hard to work with and kind of a douche, at the same time, it's like, I hope it works out for you because I know you've been busting your ass for like fucking 15 years to get another movie going and a TV show going, and none of it worked out. However, Norman Reedus and Sean Patrick Flannery will be returning, and this is going to be a reimagining slash them passing the torch on to new Saints. So, how do you feel about that, man? Because I know you've seen those movies.
Yeah, I mean the second one I'm not so hot on. The
Sure.
first one's awesome. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna be good
Mhm.
unless the writer is really fucking good and the director is really good. I don't think it's gonna be any good. What about you?
Yeah.
It's like this was your favorite movie for a long while.
Yeah. I mean, it was basically my whole personality late high school, early college. Um, and I'm not even ashamed to admit that because I still love the first one and I like the second one, even though I recognize that it's trash, but it's funny trash. Um,
Yeah, I'll be honest with the second one though, really quick. The guy that carries it's the new guy they brought in. Like he's
mhm.
so funny, but then like where they had like they overdid it with like the girls recreating scenes and shit, you know? Because like
Yeah.
when Defoe was doing it, it was like it was over the top, but it wasn't that over top, like where he's dressed like a cowboy shooting stuff and all that type of shit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I absolutely agree. Also, it was going to be hard to top Defoe anyways because he
Hmm.
fucking kills it in that movie.
Right.
Um, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The thought of having a new one to watch is very exciting. That's mostly nostalgia.
Hmm.
Um, Realistically, a passing the torch idea does not excite me. But if I get Norman and Sean even getting a little bit of cool action scenes in this movie, that's what I want.
Yeah.
If they're gonna be done, let them go out with a bang. So
Oh yeah.
that's where I'm at.
All right. My last bit of news with the success and love of X-Men 97, I guess Marvel is thinking about bringing back the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, which, pretty cool. I, the way I remember in my head, it wasn't on as much, but it was better than X-Men 97. But what do you think about that? You interested at all in any of that or nah?
Um, I don't want to say that I'm not interested. I liked I liked the X-Men cartoon when I was a kid, and I'll watch the new one eventually. It's just not something that I'm like super stoked for or have to watch right
Hmm.
away. I watched Spider-Man less than the X-Men cartoon, so I'm
Same
not
here.
as familiar. I know a lot of people like it. And actually, I had a customer last week that it was right after I think the show dropped on Wednesday. So Thursday or Friday, he came in and he was like, "Yeah, I'm loving it so far." He's like, "But I was a much bigger fan of the '90s Spider-Man cartoon, and I hope the success of that makes them bring that back." So just the
Yeah,
fact that like this is a thing now, I'm really happy for that customer.
yeah, that is awesome.
Um, and I hope that it works out. I think it would probably do better than X-Men because people fucking love Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, but
Uh,
also though, X-Men, that X-Men cartoon, like as far it has like the fans of it have the rosiest of glasses for it, where it's like they can't see anything wrong with it. So it's like
mhm.
I don't know, it has such a weird following. And so like then this new one came out and there people are loving it.
Yeah. I I like that cartoon, but yeah, dude, like a lot of the voice acting, and some of just the ideas behind episodes, it's like whenever I went back for a rewatch, I only made it a few episodes because I was like, man, this really isn't that good.
And the animation is so rough.
Hmm.
Like
I
that
heard that the new animation is really good.
that's
Like
what
they
I've heard
they they
too.
make it look old, but in a good way. So
Yeah. But now it's time for some comics. What'd you read?
I read Dawnrunner #1, Vengeance of Moon Knight #3, Dear Editor #3, Superman #12, and Blade #9.
Okie dokie. Yeah, put Blade here then. And I read a good bit more than you, believe it or not. Night Thrasher 2. Justice League versus Kong versus Godzilla, #6. Cobra Commander, #3. Fantastic Four, #18. The Invincible Iron Man, #16. The Ape-ril Special. Green Lantern War Journal, #7. World's Finest, #25. Blade, Dear Editor, and Superman.
Nice. I will let you take it away.
All right. So Night Thrasher, #2, and this is by Jay Holtman and Nelson Daniel on the art. Yeah, I mean, Night Thrasher's just kind of like prepping for his fight with Rage again. And then the cops are, like Rage has got his whole team of children that are going to be robbing stuff. And Night Thrasher shows up and beats up on Rage. But then they're like, ah, you caused a lot of damage to stuff. Like the cops were all mad. But it's like, Rage was like, he threw your police car. Like there was nothing y'all would have done. And yet you're mad at Night Thrasher for stopping him. It's New York. Like what? I really like that ending really ruined it for me. Like the story itself was fine, but like it made no sense. Like it'd be different if this is like an image book, maybe, where it's like, oh, this fresh new hero, but still it's like the cops had no shot. And then like he stopped them and like a lot of this destruction was caused before he even got there. Like there was some ground destruction and some other like little things. So it's like he didn't do anything that bad, bud. Like, and he's like, oh, look what I did. Like that type of thing, that type of ridiculous shit. So that really ruined it for me. The art in it's pretty solid though. I'm gonna probably go with like a 4.5 out of 10 on it.
Okay.
And then Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong, #6. And this is by oh, gotta find Brian Buccellato, I know does the writing, and I'm trying to find the artist really quick. But man, you stopped reading it, and I'm not gonna lie, it's not the best. It's a Christian Deuce. It's just like it kind of gives me vibes of like oh that one Tom Taylor book where it's zombies, you
Hmm.
know, where it's like they just do stuff to do stuff. Like Guy Gardner gets like they just do stuff to look cool. So like, if this is Batman gets his mech in this one because it's like, yeah, putting Flash in a mech to help power its engines makes more sense than having Flash do anything against these giant monsters, I guess. And then the Green Lanterns were like, ah, we can make a one mech together also. where one of us is the are the legs, and then another one is the arm. It's like y'all can just make mechs yourself, and you'd have more of them. And they're like, no, we need each other's help. And it's like one of them's just in the head. What are you doing? There's no buttons in there. You're making everything. You're a Green Lantern. And then like um Jason and Red Hood are flying the bat plane, and then it turns into a mech also, because of course, but this mech's got guns. I just want to see like Batman like go like no, and like just squish it because they're doing something wrong. They're not supposed to have guns. And also, how funny would it be if like Batman sees Damian flying without a pilot's license and just beats the shit out of him? But yeah, so then there's like that silly stuff, and then Beast Boy. Oh, they rip off one of the arms. Guy Gardner was in that arm, and then Grodd just fucking kills Guy Gardner. Which I'm like, it makes sense because I've seen the covers of the next issue where where King Kong gets a Green Lantern ring.
Holy shit.
So it's like that's it makes sense they had to kill a Green Lantern. He's the most killable, I guess. But then Beast Boy turns into uh, King Kong, and like King Kong's been tough. Like he's been taking hits from everybody, including Supergirl. And so Beast Boy should be close to that tough. You'd think. Supergirl one shots Beast Boy as Kong because she's mind controlled, and then it ends with Superman showing up to fight Godzilla, who's chained up underwater. He's like, "We've got a score to settle." In classic Superman fashion, keeping score of his fights.
Dude, that's the thing. Buccellato doesn't fucking get anyone he's writing.
I mean, he might be better in like a mainstream book. It just seems they're like, do as much goofy ass fan service as you want. That's what this book needs. And he's like, way ahead of you.
I don't know. Like I get that, man, but at the same time, like I just thought it was dumb. It wasn't even
Yeah, no,
fun for me.
it's fun, but it's super dumb. And so yeah, I'm probably at a 5, maybe. Like it's like I said, it's dumb. And if you haven't been reading comics your whole life, you might even enjoy it. But, I've read way too many comics in my day, so it's less enjoyable for me. They're getting a lot of Casey tonight since they missed me last week.
That's right.
So Cobra Commander by Joshua Williamson and Andrea Milana. Yeah, this is fun. The art's really good. The Dreadnoks are torturing Cobra Commander, and he's just playing them because they're kind of Louisiana idiots. And then it's like, I know stuff about, like, I know certain characters in the G.I. Joe lore, but fuck, do I not know who this guy is?
Yep, me either. I know
No
even
clue.
less.
So, that was interesting when he showed up, but this book's really cool. This is the best issue so far, too.
Art looks
Just,
good.
yeah, I like the art a lot. I like the torturing scene. He gets the stuff he needs. The Dreadnoks are cool. This weirdo with the wings there is pretty badass. So, yeah, I'm just into it. I'm going to give it a 8 out of 10.
Excellent.
And I think I'll do one more and then I'll let you go. So Fantastic Four 18 by Ryan North and Carlos Gomez on the art. This has my single favorite panel in comics history, or two of them, because it's just so fucking stupid. And then
what the fuck?
And then how his eyes stay kind of out a little bit.
That is so funny, dude.
So for the listeners that don't have the video going, Reed Richards is like looking at the sky and he's got his eyes out like binoculars, and it just tickled me very much. But yeah, so basically Franklin Richards is like, oh, I wake up once a year and I bring my powers back because I got rid of them. I'm not going to explain how my hair is black when it used to be blonde. Don't even ask. And I'm going to look at this possible thing. There's invisible meteorites that are coming to Earth. and it turns out the Fantastic Four can't stop him. And so I'm just gonna nudge everything because I got all this power. And then this bad guy's like, I'm watching this child sleep. Oh, and he did this. Well, I can do that too. And then he moved everything back. And so then the meteor, so it happens anyway. The meteorites are still going, and then turns out the Fantastic Four can't stop it. And it's one of those things where it's like, well, what was the fuck was the point of this whole first half? You know?
Yeah.
But like they very much have a like Star Trek type moment where like you have all the smart people talking, trying to figure out how to do something. And then you have like the one normal person where it's like, what if you just filled it with more air, like a balloon ready to burst, like that type of thing. And then they're like, that's a genius idea. And it was like Alicia Masters said something, and it was like it was a really good Fantastic Four way of stopping something where like they all teamed up. Like Sue used her powers with Johnny's powers, and then they had uh, Ben and Reed able to like move the stuff around with their eyesight so that shoot out the little like things like missile command basically.
Oh,
And like
sure.
yeah, and it looks awesome. And
Nice. That
it's
is cool.
yeah, it's just like what was the point of the first half of this book? Because it is the first half of Franklin just being like, I have all this power. I'm a god. I can move this stuff. I'm gonna go back to sleep. And then the other guy's like, oh, glad I was watching this child sleep. And then he just moved it back. It's like, okay, I guess they can stop it. So for that, it's 7.5 out of 10. It was enjoyable though. It's like I said, great way for the Fantastic Four to stop something. Teamwork. I think that's the best way with Fantastic Four. You don't really get that with other books normally. I mean, you do, but it's not the same where it's like normally like Superman could have just done this by himself, or like Thor could have done this by himself. Where, like with this, it's like, no, the whole team was needed.
Yeah. Sounds like 4 of those 7.5 points were for binocular eye read, though.
Yeah. That's still the best. I took pictures of both of those.
That's like so like I don't know. It's like in Framing Roger Rabbit, if he sees like a hot lady, just like a
Dude,
stupid sound effect with his eyes doing that.
the second one where he's like still like his eyes are still bulged, it made me think of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but when the bad guy like, do you remember the tune that killed your brother? And he took off his glasses and he's got the butt like that's what it made me
Yeah.
think of.
Oh boy. All right. Did you read Dawnrunner?
No.
Okay.
Is that the one about the guy like the pink the ducks that get oil on them and they have that guy with the Dawn detergent and he has to run to get more because they ran out. He had to run to the store to get it and no?
No. No.
Okay.
So, Dawnrunner #1. It's by Ram V with art by Evan Cagle. This book was pretty fucking awesome, dude.
Nice.
Like Evan Cagle is one of the best comic artists out there, and I have read one issue. So first of all, look at some faces,
Yeah, that's great.
and then one panel in particular that I will be showing you. And I know it's not gonna come across super well. But this one, it looks like somebody was watching anime and paused the
Yeah.
screen. Like that's how detailed and like the lighting and everything. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
I I just loved it. Anyway, basically like it's humans versus aliens, and the human government has dissolved and 5 mega corporations control everything, and they built these things called Iron Kings, and they're giant fucking mechs that have to fight the aliens. So it's a bit Pacific Rim, it's a bit uh Neon Genesis, except I like this, unlike Neon Genesis. Um, it's fucking rad as hell, dude. So here is one of the aliens. So they're kind of creepy
Oh,
looking, right?
yeah.
And then like here's like the action though.
Oh, dude, that looks awesome.
It's so good. It's so good. Anyway, the book mostly follows this one gal that is uh she has like the most kills out of all the Iron King pilots, and today's the day that she's going to try out their new experimental Iron King that's supposed to be better than all the rest. They can understand the alien language, and that's going to help them kick more ass. Well, she gets hooked up to it. It's like a whole body thing, fucking stuff in her head connected to the king, and she starts getting visions of some guy, and she's like seeing stuff through this guy, and it really kind of ends like that. So it's really like, well, what the hell's going on with that?
Hmm.
And the rest of the issue was good enough that I'm gonna find out next time. So yeah, I really like this book. Ram V uh is coming out swinging with this one. So uh I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. It's probably my pick of the week. It
Nice,
it was
dude.
just it's just something different and fresh, and I like it.
Nice. Ram is genuinely awesome. Like I'm upset that I couldn't get into his detective comics, but I do know I'm like, maybe if I ever get caught up on all my trades I have to read, I'll get that one afterwards.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so the Invincible Iron Man 16 by Gary Duggan and Chris Lee on the art. We get, Iron Man in his new mech that it was like all built up to last time, and it's this super powerful thing, but it's like, oh, it turns out it needs a lot of energy, and he has no way of powering it back up, and it runs out of power. And his new armor that's, able to withstand shots of adamantium. It's like, turns out it's not that strong when in plot devices need it to be.
Yep.
It's just like they did too much of a good job of making everything that he was doing last issue be awesome for this one to hit, like for him to be struggling this much. It's just like, yeah, it doesn't really work, bud. So yeah, I mean it's fine. Next issue should be cool. I'm excited for this shit to be done because it's been
It's
16
been
issues of the same arc basically since Gary Duggins took over. So it's like, this will be nice when it's done. Um, so yeah, it's fine. It's a 7 out of 10 for me though.
right.
And then I'll jump into Green Lantern War Journal number 7. And this is by Philip Kennedy Johnson. And find the artist really quick. Dang, I hate how DC does this. I say this
Yeah.
all the time. Um, but it's like Montos first name. There we go. Oh, it's just Montos. That's the whole name. But yeah, it's a solid issue. We're getting a little bit more backstory on stuff and on, the bad guys basically. And then they mention a couple times, and it can't, like, Philip Kennedy Johnson's too smart for this. They mentioned several times, like, the thing in the sky. This isn't a spoiler. The Dark Star. Like, you can't go through that, blah, blah, blah. Dark Star is a Green Lantern villain, so it's like, I'm curious if this is bringing that up or if Philip Kennedy Johnson's just like, I just think it sounds cool. But so, like, I'm interested in that because it's like the way I remember Dark Star, he like, or they, because it's like a whole conglomerate type thing where it's like they doesn't really have, never did this. So I'm curious about that. But it's good. I mean, it's just a solid, good book. I'm gonna go 8.5 probably out of 10.
Nice.
And then I'll let you take back over. Then I got two more before I'm please.
Okay. Vengeance of the Moon Knight, #3. That's written by Jed McKay with art by Alessandro Capuccio. And this time it's Soldier talking to a doctor lady who has been the therapist for everybody else. And it's just all about Soldier and his relationship to Moon Knight. And then in the background, uh, whoever this new Moon Knight is going very much David Finch era Moon Knight style and just beating the fuck out of everybody and carving moons into foreheads. And all the villains and all the people are starting to come after everyone at the Midnight Mission because they're like, Moon Knight's your boy and your boy's fucking up everybody. So what the hell? And so they're trying to play damage control. Uh, and then a big part of this is like a group of D-list villains decide they're going to come shoot up the Midnight Mission. So it's just Tigra, Soldier, and Hunter's Moon, stopping them, which is pretty neat. Oh, and Reese as well. But yeah, art's still fucking cool. Soldier and 8-Ball go and talk to somebody, we don't see who, until the very end, about helping them find where this fake Moon Knight is, like where he sleeps or whatever, so that they can all go and put a stop to him. And it turns out that it's this. She was in the last series briefly. Her name's Lady Yulon, but she's like a crazy old vampire who's been around for hundreds of years. And they're like, you own the night. You have to know where this guy's at. Tell us so we can put a stop to him. And that's how it ends. So it's real good, man. This book's always good. I feel like it's never dipped below a 9. Jed McKay is just knocking it out of the park every single issue. So 9 out of 10. Love it.
Right on, man. All right. So World's Finest by Mark Waid and Stephen Pugh doing the art, and then we get the backup that's by Mark Waid and Dan Mora. And I like the main story a lot. It's a Joker Lex Luthor story. Lex has this map where it's like you read it, you go insane. So I'm gonna make Joker read it since he's already insane. And Joker's written really well. Like he's got psychotic, like it's very similar, I'm gonna say, to the animated series where it's like psychotic tendencies, but still fun.
Sure.
Because there's too much, anymore. There's too much like one way or the other. Usually just the psycho, not the fun. And this one it does both, and there's lots of weird stuff that goes on, and
Can I
then
just
it's
say I thought you were done with that book, so I didn't pick it up either because I was like, oh well, he's done with it.
well, I will be done because then the backup, it's all setting up for, because I just forgot that I wasn't interested in a bunch of imp shit. And then the backup is Mix-a-Plick and Batmite doing some silly stuff, and I'm like, boy, I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
But like I said, the main story is good. Mark Waid writes a good Joker and a good Lex. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with an 8. It's good.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, man.
And then the Ape-ril Special, and this is by, or we get multiple stories, but we got Plan of the Apes, or Rise of Battle for and Eventual Conquest of the Legion of Du'Aham, by John Layman and Carl Mostert on the art, and then Detective Chimp and Detour by Joshua Hale Fialkov and Phil Hester, and then Monkey
There's
Prince.
a name I haven't heard in a while.
What?
Joshua Fialkov.
Well, I recognize it, but what else has he done?
Dude, I mean, I don't remember offhand, but that was somebody that like we were running into at C2E2 like a
I
long
gotcha.
time ago.
But then we also have Monkey Prince and Call to Arms by Jean Lewin Yang and Bernard Chang on the art.
Oh, he did I Vampire for the new 52. He also
okay.
wrote Godzilla Oblivion, and he did
Okay.
another Godzilla World of something or other.
Yeah. Well, spoiler alert, he does Detective Chimp well.
Good.
And so this first story, Mala is decided he's gonna take over as the alpha monkey. And so then he's got Silverback, Ultra Humanite, Jackanapes, and Titano. And he's like, we're taking over. No monkeys are gonna get hurt. We're gonna be, blah blah blah. And then Sam Simeon and Detective Chimp are both investigating missing monkeys. Monkey Prince is like, guys, I'm gonna have your help too. This French monkey ripped my arm off. And they're like, oh, that was Monsieur Mala. And so then they all
Who
team
could
up,
it
but like,
be?
yeah, it's like what other French gorilla is there? But Titano's gotten stronger. They're all like all each of these monkeys have all gotten more powerful and whatnot, and they're getting the good guys are getting their butts kicked, but then Detective Chimp runs off and brings back Gleek and I don't know what the fuck the super monkey is, but the super monkey, like that Superman monkey that's on the cover.
He's in Supergirl comics, right?
I don't know, man, but yeah. So he shows up and then they fight back, and Sam Simeon follows Mala. And then when he gets there, he sees how they're getting more powerful. Like basically, it's like a monkey's paw type of thing, and by that I mean literally, because they found. I think there was a fun pun name for it. It was the Monkey Nomicon. They found that, and then they're ripping off these like the monkeys that they're stealing's arms, and then using that as like a monkey paw type thing to make these other the bad guy monkey's more powerful. And so like Sam Simeon shows up there, and then the other superhero monkeys followed him. And so they're ready to kick his ass, Mala's ass. But then all the other monkeys showed up. The bad guys did too, and they're like, and we followed them. And then Mala's like, good, good, this make it easy, kill them. And then they all look at him. It's like, oh, fellas, kill them. It's like, you said no apes or monkeys would be hurt. No innocent, that is, only humans. You lied to us, Mala. You made fools of us. And they just beat the crap out of them. And they put a sign on them that says, traitor to apes, spank this monkey. And they're like, pretty sure something got lost in translations with that last part. And then it ends with Sam Simeon getting a new job helping this lady. And it's like, I loved it. Like, it was so good. Like I was telling you beforehand, you put a monkey in like a detective costume, I'm easy to please. It's going to be awesome. And so that first story was great. It's nice reading John Layman again. And then we get the Detective Chimp
By the
story.
way, the monkey is Beppo.
Oh, okay.
That's
He,
Superman's pet monkey who was also from Krypton.
oh, of course he was. um, so
Can you
yeah,
guess
like
he's a Silver Age character?
what? Um, I just love how like there was a whole like there was the dog, the monkey, the horse, the fucking gerbil, all that stuff. Like the parents are like, yeah, let's just load them up into things. Like and, the wife the wife is like, is there room for me? It's like, nah, not with his horse and
That's so
dog and
funny.
it's like maybe we just leave. Like, how could a Kryptonian child live his life
Without his pet
without his
horse.
pet horse? But yeah, so this story, it's awesome. Like legitimately so good. Detective Chimp, he needed a ride. And so he gets the ride with this guy who just murdered somebody. And so yeah, that's all I'm gonna say with it. It's just a really good story. Like Phil Hester's art is perfect for this type of story. And then you add the way it's written, super good. And then last story, it's a Monkey Prince story by Gene Luen Yang, Bernard Chang. His arms acting up after it got put back on. And yeah, then he goes and shows back up. He's fighting like all of his arms got basically like made more copied. And so now there's a bunch of them. They're going to use it for magic stuff. Ultra Humite's there. I forgot Ultra Humanite was his uncle, was his grandpa. And so it was a whole thing. Like they had a whole thing. And yeah, I mean, it was that last story like perfectly all right. But then I also just want to say this is probably my new favorite cover of all time. I don't know if you can read it, but I'll say it.
Yeah.
There's a monkey in a court, and he goes, the guy goes, we the jury find the defendant guilty, and then the monkey's like, I'm innocent, I tell you.
So one of the other covers that it shows is for Strange Sports Stories.
Yes,
I have that one in the shop. I laugh every time I see it.
so awesome. Like this is just making me want to be the guy that collects monkey covers because they're all great. There's another one where this monkey's like in a lab and he's like trying to leave the thing and like, there's your laboratory freak, professor. Shoot him down before he gets away with the stolen formula. He's like, wait, don't shoot. Let me explain. I'm gonna give this a 9.95. I love the two main stories, and then like the last one was was fine. Nothing
Yeah.
about it was bad, but yeah, it's good. I like a lot of these anthology books have kind of not been the best. Like, or at least there's like one story where I'm like, I just didn't even read it because it was just not enjoyable.
Right.
But this didn't really have that. So yeah, it's just Monkey Prince is kind of like a character I'm just can't get invested in. I've tried hard, but just not for me. But now I'm on Mucci territory, bud.
Let's do Dear Editor Blade Superman.
Okie dokie. Vampire happy time.
I know, right? Dear Editor, written by Ryan K. Lindsay with art by Sammy Cavella. I only read this because it was the last issue. I couldn't give a fuck.
I mean, it's like I was like after the second issue, which was such a jarring thing for me. I was like, I'm still interested in seeing where it goes. I hope it doesn't disappoint. And it did.
Yeah. I mean, the saving grace is like the internal dialogue is good. Like it's well written. It's just everything else is like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Well, because like the dialogue in general is well written, but then like the story itself, I'm just like, what the fuck is going? And because he does this, and it's like, oh yeah, he doesn't actually stop. It's just like doesn't really stop anything. He just tells the world about it.
Yeah,
Like that's it. And
it's
then like
just
the girl that's pregnant, she has her kid.
yep. Yeah, I know. He was just an editor at a newspaper.
Yeah.
Just an editor at a newspaper. And in 2 issues, he's now a fucking gymnast vampire hunter. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Well, he's a deer also,
He
Everyone
is also a deer.
everyone knows vampires number one killer is deer.
Yeah. Yeah, how could we all forget? Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just like normally I'm all about a vampire slaying book, but not after the first issue. It it's just like every time we got to one of those parts, I'm just like, okay, uh-huh. I was just couldn't get to the end fast enough.
Yeah, I agree. It was a letdown. But it's like I don't know. I think it could have like even after the first issue, it could have been a fun twist with it being vampires if there was like little things sprinkled throughout, like different stuff, but it was just kind of like, yeah, it's vampires. And then this issue, and then like there wasn't really closure other than like we know that there's vampires now.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. I I'm gonna give it like a 2, man. Like I don't know. I just really did not like it.
Yeah, I'm feeling a 4. I'm thinking about letting Nick borrow these because it's like he might have a different perspective than us on it. And maybe since he'll already know the twist for the second issue, he won't hate it as much as we do.
Right.
Alrighty, so Blade issue 9 by Brian Hill and Valentina Pinti on the art. I love the art still in this book. Um, Story itself is solid, but I still have questions. What do you think though?
Yeah, I liked it. We're back to issue 4, where
Right?
it's like, all right, all this shit's happening. All this stuff's getting thrown at us because the next issue, it's done.
Yeah.
Really, I think that I think that Blade will kill the bad guy or whatever, but I really think that they're setting it up for Doctor Strange to kind of like save the day. Like
I think
maybe Blade like dies or something, and then Strange brings him back somehow. I don't know. It's just like the way they left off with Strange towards the end. I'm like, okay, what's gonna happen there?
see, I think Ghosty Boy is probably gonna be the one that saves the day. Or actually probably the girl, Ghosty Boy's daughter.
Mm,
But like to me, it's just like it doesn't make any sense that the Adana or whatever is still just like in hiding because it's like, oh yeah, she beat him, she won in issue 4
yep,
off panel. And then they're like, oh, now she's hiding. The classic thing you do when you won.
yep. Here's what's gonna be really funny. Next issue, she wins again. And then it's like to be continued. And then
Right?
he's off training with someone else.
Dragon Ball
Uh
Z style. He'll be like, oh, I'm gonna go train with this guy now.
right. In the hyperbolic time
Yeah.
chamber.
Ooh, you know who he's gonna train with? He's gonna train with Werewolf by Night next.
I'd love that.
Jake's like, I'm back in. I don't care
I'm
how dumb it
back
is.
in. Well, the thing is like even if it did continue, I'd still be in because I like what I'm reading, you
Yeah,
know?
it's like it's one of those things where it's like the main story's kind of dumb,
Yeah, it
but I
is.
kind of it also reeks of like editorial dumbness and not the writer's dumbness. So like it's hard for me to be too, pissy about it on the writer side because it's like everything in it is good. It's just like it really feels like they're having to work around editorial telling them shit.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. But also art is good as
Hmm.
always. That needs to be said. Um, but yeah, I'm at like a 7.5, I think.
Yeah, I was feeling an 8 for it. So
And our last book, Superman number 12. It's written by Joshua Williamson with art by David Baldeon and Norm Rapmond. I liked this book quite a bit.
me too.
Um, I want to say that is this the first issue that Baldeon was the artist on, or did he do last issue?
I think you did last issue too.
Okay. Because I know that like Gleb did one here recently,
Yeah,
but art's really good. It's a little cartoony in parts, but I think it works with like
I
the
do too.
fights.
Hmm.
Um, a big highlight for me is they're like we need some kind of battery for this to suck out all the
Same,
the
same here.
whatever, and then it shoots to Parasite sitting in a chair with like jeans and a tucked in button down, and Superman's like, "You ready, Rudy? I promise it won't hurt." And I'm just like, God damn it, he knows how to write Superman.
And then I fucking just I love Parasite too because he's like, this is the best.
Yeah, it's the best meal I've ever had, he says. I love Superman calling Parasite, creepy Parasite, by his first name, Rudy. Um, but no, I mean it was cool, we got to see Lex kind of shine as a hero for a second. I loved when Lex didn't want to listen to Superman, but Superman was like, "Are you a changed man, Lex? You need to prove it right here." And for a
Hmm.
second, I was like, "Will he?" I didn't know if
Yeah.
he would or not. Um, yeah, hopefully we're done with like the chained and fucking farm and graph, because boy, every time I have to look at fucking Dr. Farm, I just hate it.
Like with Dr. Farm, I was like, I was never 100% sure if it was a dude or a chick. And then this one, it finally, because he says we're all men of science, correct? I'm like, oh, okay. It's like we are men. Okay, I got it
Yeah, yeah.
now.
Didn't want to assume anything. Uh yeah. I'm just ready. Like I don't know how House of Brainiac's gonna be. Like I want to believe that Williamson's gonna give us a cool story there. Um I'm just glad to be done with Farm and Graft and the Chained.
It just felt, I mean, the change was pretty terrible, but with Farm and Graph, it feels like they could have gotten a little bit more. It was just kind of like, our one we're this terrible secret thing, and then it's like the one, like they're finally doing something, and it's like, you caught us. Okay. Like that was kind of lame.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, I get what you're saying where you don't want to really deal with them anymore, but I think they should have got away and like
Yeah.
be able to plan again. But that's really my only critique on this book because I had a great time. It's like it's what
Hmm.
comics should be. It should just be fun.
It should be. Also I should have mentioned, where is it? The colorist, Rex Locus. Fantastic.
Hmm.
Nice bright colors. The kryptonite gas, very bright and green. Superman, looking great. It's just
Mm.
really nice to look at. It's always going to be tough to follow up Jamal Campbell, but I
Yeah.
I think that they did, even though you're not big on Gleb and there were some issues with his issue, overall the step-ins were pretty good.
Yeah. But Jamal Campbell's just too good.
Too good. Agreed. So I'm at like a 9.5, man. I loved
Yeah.
it.
I'm feeling a 9 because it was like I said, it was kind of anticlimactic with the ending, but other than that, great stuff.
Hmm.
And it's exactly what comics should be, like we were saying. But what are you excited about in this coming week, man?
I'm excited for Batman Dark Age. Um, that's what's his name who did Superman Space Age taking on Batman. Mark
Mr. Mark
Russell.
Russell.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think I liked how he wrote Batman in Space Age. So I think this will be cool. I'm also gonna say Incredible Hulk. I've been just loving every issue of that. And Green Arrow. That's been another solid one for me.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go Batman Dark Age 2 because I'm super pumped for that. I didn't even know it was a thing until I saw it advertised, and I was like, "Holy crap, this is gonna be rad!" And then I'll say Duke and Daredevil.
Nice.
All right, but Mount Rushmore time, or not Mount Rushmore, Fantastic Four time. Um, I saw on Facebook where someone was like, "The Mount Rushmore of Batman rogues," and he had um fucking
Joker.
Joker, which I think Joker needs to be on there. Court of Owls, which it's like that'd be a weird on your Mount Rushmore.
Just
Uh,
40 heads in that one little space.
yeah, Bane, and then the one that I'm like, dude, just because DC wants him to be a Batman rogue, he is not, and he had Deathstroke.
I knew you were gonna say it after that
Yep,
first part.
yep. So I was just thinking, what would be your Mount Rushmore of Batman rogues?
I'll say Bane is also on mine. I
Yeah.
think Bane's a really good villain.
Hmm.
I'm not
You're
gonna
just
put,
you're just a Chucky Dix fanboy. That's all it is.
I am. Um, Joker's not on mine because I'm so jokered out. I don't want to do it. Um, the kind of goofy one is Mad Hatter
Just you just
because
did that for the hat, right? He's
yeah,
filling in Abe Lincoln's spot.
right. But whenever Mad Hatter's involved, it's always a little more lighthearted and fun, I guess, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes Batman needs that. And then probably my two favorites though. I'm gonna go with Two-Face. I pretty much every time he's involved, it's just been awesome. At least the stuff that I've read,
Mm-hmm.
especially Batman and Robin New 52, where Batman was teaming up with Two-Face there for a little bit. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't think I do.
It was right when Damian died. So then it was like Batman and Nightwing, then Batman
Oh,
and
okay.
Batgirl, and then there was a Two-Face arc. It was
I gotcha.
so good. Um, and then my favorite's Man Bat. I've said that a bunch of times. I love Man Bat. His story's cool. I like Kirk. Um, he's just not featured very much. So
Yeah. All right, and then for me, I'm gonna go with Joker, of course, because he's, Joker. And then Raish Al Ghul, you know, top of the line. And then this one's I'm gonna say a little controversial, but Mr. Freeze. Because really the best stuff with Mr. Freeze is the animated series. It's like you try to compare that to his comic book appearances, and there's not a whole lot there, that you can compare.
not controversial. I almost put him in place of Mad Hatter.
You know why though? It's because we're the same age. We both grew up with that show.
Yeah. But dude, like prime Mr. Freeze in that show is better than a lot of prime other popular Batman villains.
No, you're right. It's like I don't understand why. I mean, actually, I kind of do because they have to keep writing them, and like the show got to end, so it's like, but like we don't have, like it's just the comic book Mr. Freeze just doesn't ever hit near as well.
Mhm.
And then my last one, I was thinking Bane, but I'm like, that was on the example and then on yours, so I won't do that. I don't know who would be a good last one. Firefly. No, I'm joking. Probably Penguin because he's very, or
Yeah,
no, actually, I'll go Riddler. I think Riddler's probably a little bit would be like a little bit above Penguin, and then Penguin's like just like he'd be like the fifth.
yeah. Another one that I thought of, but again, it's the Chucky D talking to me.
It's
Azrael, man.
oh okay. I thought you were gonna say Zaz. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna smack
No,
you.
no. Azrael's tough. He's nearly as good as Batman and really gave him a nasty time there for a little bit.
But they're friends sort of now, so like
Yeah, that's why I didn't
it's
add him.
less rogues. But let us know. Let us know who your guys' Mount Rushmore of Batman villains, who you agree with more, me or Jake.
Yeah, because it's a total competition,
It is. I need validated.
and I don't. All right. Yep. I think that brings us to the end of the episode, buddy.
Absolutely, man.
Closing plugs time. Head on over to facebook.com/twoworldspodcast and give the page a like. You can also follow us on Twitter at 2_worlds_PC and on Instagram at 2worldspod. You can email us at 2worldspodcast@gmail.com. And if you would, head on over to the YouTube channel. We are Two Worlds Podcast on YouTube and subscribe.
Leave a comment down below. Tell us, like I said, your Mount Rushmore, or just if you thought Dear Editor was actually really good. Maybe you're the third person that read that book. But yeah, just talk to us.
All right,
Oh,
guys.
let us know really quick. Let us know your favorite James Bond movie and you know your favorite James Bond.
Yes. And answer it, damn it. We're asking
Yeah.
for it.
Oh, and should Puck be sexy?
All right, guys. We'd love to stay in chat, but we have a couple of crimes to solve, and those trench coats aren't going to wear themselves. So we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.